Jose stepping up its fight against blight. The city council just approved steep penalties against property owners who don't fix up abandoned and run-down buildings. So the city already had the power to issue fines, but officials say they weren't strong enough. So today, they boosted them to $10,000 per day. That is 4 times the previous penalty. And they also increased the total maximum penalty to $500,000, 5 times the previous limit. Our Katie Nielsen spoke with one downtown property owner who hopes the steeper fines will finally wake up one of his neighbors.
This old church right across from St. James Park is actually what started the city's conversation about chronic blight. It's owned by a Chinese investment company, and there hasn't really been much of an effort in terms of rehabilitation, redevelopment, or even selling the property. That's why the city is now saying increased fines could force property owners to finally clean up their act.
I have one here, and I have one behind me. And all they're doing is bringing down the value of our homes here.
Longtime San Jose resident John Ray Tapia says he is surrounded by blight. There's an abandoned house that's boarded up on the backside of his property, and there's also a burned out home next door. He says it was once abandoned and boarded up as well, but he says unhoused residents moved in and accidentally set it on fire about 3 years ago.
I'd like to see them fix it up and someone else using it.
Tapia says he even offered to buy the property from the owner, but the owner refused to sell, instead leaving it exactly as it is for years.
It's unsightly and it doesn't look good for the neighborhood.
That's why the San Jose City Council decided to increase the fines for property owners who refuse to clean up their lots to a maximum of $10,000 a day or a maximum of $500,000 a year, the highest fine amount in the state.
We are, already hurling fines at them, but a lot of these individuals, property owners, are quite wealthy or they live overseas. And so they treat these minor fines as essentially a cost of doing business.
Councilmember Ortiz says many of the issues are happening in his district of East San Jose, but there are sites all over the city that are chronic eyesores.
If you don't want to maintain your property and you're okay with having blighted buildings and fires and trash, we're going to push you to sell it to somebody else who will maintain it and make use of it. We need housing, we want jobs.
Lifelong San Jose resident Robert Tenori agrees and says the former Church of Christ scientist should be first on the city's list. The property was left abandoned for years after a failed restoration plan.
There's plenty of people that could benefit from this being restored and improved upon, and for decades it seems now it's just been neglected.
Councilmember Ortiz says this really is supposed to be a tool of last resort for chronic offenders. He said the intention is not to penalize property owners who might be having a temporary problem.
Katie, thank you. So what happens when the financial penalties are not enough to motivate property owners? The city also has the power to take legal action, like what happened with a set of lots just blocks from the city hall. And then look at this. This is video from last year. This is a property on North 4th Street in East St. John. So there used to be 2 Victorian homes, but they burned down. The owner never cleared the area. Eventually, the city forced the property into a receivership and cleaned up the land earlier this year. Now, the property is for sale for $35 million. It has already been approved for a new building with hundreds of housing units, though it is unclear if the sale would change those plans.